But now let's talk about the revenge game, the game that I'm on the calendar.
You had to wait
Since
two whole weeks for.
two to 2 weeks.
Sorry.
I've been in a dark room with the no lights on, just looking, waiting for the 2 weeks to get over for this game. Okay, we had the Giants versus my Philadelphia Eagles, with the Eagles being favored by 7.5 points and the over under being 44.5. Giants are coming off a legendary loss to the Broncos. I believe, what was that? I'm like, weren't they like ahead by 18 or 19 points with like 5 minutes? Do I got that? Like, it's kind of
I think
that.
it was even more than that. Yeah, they gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so that is a legendary loss. Like, I literally saw some statistic. I wish I could find it on ESPN, where they showed that like the teams in those situations are like 0 and like 1,000 and something. And I was like, oh man, I wish I kept that statistic. So it goes to show you that that was a big legendary loss. I wish I could find it on, but I can't find it. But so that's what I'm going with. The legendary loss, unbelievable. But weeks ago, the Giants had their best win probably in maybe their I don't know, last 5 years, 4 years. They blew out my Philadelphia Eagles. I was, I was in a different way. I couldn't believe it. But in that game, okay. Before I get to that, let me focus on the Giants here. Okay, I don't want to get on a rant. They had a legendary loss to the Broncos last week, and now, but 2 weeks ago, before the Broncos game, they had one of the best wins, and where that fat bald head coach, his best game probably in years. Okay, so the Giants team, they rely on two things. Only two things. They rely on Jackson Dart. He has given this team a spark. I think he's gave him like confidence. He's given him like a boost of morale, if you will. And, that's something it is. But, is this still going to keep up? There's going to be more tape on this guy, and, just keep an eye on that, okay? Because people are also blowing up Scatterboo just a little bit too much. He has 398 yards rushing, and that's only 4.1 yards a clip. That, you don't want to go below that 4 yards mark. Now, don't get me wrong. Those yards here are getting are tough yards. He's like a bowling ball. It looks like one. And he pounds them and he punishes people. Okay, so I see that, but just he's not like some world breaker breaking off big runs. So keep an eye on that. Jackson Dart looks great. Okay, like I said, he's added a spark to this team. He's 791 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, I believe 2 or 3 interceptions, but he's only actually completing 60% of his passes, so that's not really great. And he has 37 carries for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he's doing it. He's doing everything. He's doing everything to keep this team above water. I think he's like this version of I don't want to say that. I was going to say like he's doing Mahomes is doing. Mahomes has no running game either, and he's using his legs, but he is no Mahomes. But don't take that, okay, for what it is. He's not that. He's also very good against the blitz, which I advise the Eagles don't do. They blitzed him a crap ton in that game, and he's actually really good against the blitz. I already talked to you guys about Cam Scatterboo. Their defense isn't good, people. Okay, like their defense is not that great as some people are doing. I even thought their front seven would be better than this, but it's not. They've allowed the 5th most passing yards in total. They also surrendered the 10th most points per game. So people are scoring on them, and like I said, they are. They're letting teams run on them left and right. The defense is ranked 29th overall in general. I want to just give them, some other perspective here. The Giants have covered the spread in each of their last 3 games versus teams with a winning record. So they are. I'm not just trying to beat on them because I don't like them, but they are covering, which is good. They're in a lot of games, if you will. They still need something. They need something else besides Wade Robinson. He likes throwing to his tight ends and Theo Johnson and Bellinger, I think the other guy's name is. So, but they need something else besides Robinson. They're probably not going to go get somebody else because they're going to have a terrible record and they'll go have draft picks. But dude, before I get another diatribe, rant, craziness about my Philadelphia Eagles, what do you got anything about the Giants you like or you want to say about them?
No, I don't know. I guess they came down to earth a little bit last week against the Broncos. Some of that magic might be fizzling out. I do still think Dart is playing well, but it's hard to play a team back to back like this. Like to win twice against the Eagles would be really really impressive. So I don't know. I think you might need to have a reservation somewhere if call the loony bin or something if they beat the Eagles again.
If they call him there, man, I just might like leave the country and just
Yeah.
start talking about soccer games. But let's talk about my Philadelphia Eagles. They're coming off a tough road win against the Vikings. I say tough, and I said that was my best bets because in a lot of metrics, defensive metrics, Vikings are in the top 10. They just are. They're in the top 10 in a lot of metrics. So it was a tough win to go in Minnesota and almost put 30 points on them. Hurts, like I said, he lit up the secondary, the Vikings secondary. He threw over 300 yards. Smith and AJ Brown had over 100 yards each receiving, so that's great. But hey, it's not all candy and cake here. The rushing is still god awful. It's ranked 30th in NFL. It should never be like that when you have one of the best running backs in the league. So that needs to change. But it's hard to change when your offensive line is beat up and they're just not the same. Dickerson and Jurgens are both hurt. They're beat up. They're playing with injuries. We may or may not get Jurgens back. I know he believe he was limited to practice. Our starting center, Dickinson, has had neck injury. He's had a knee injury, so they're beat up. And also Steen is a step down in run blocking compared to Becton. Becton was a really, really great run blocker and not that great of a pass blocker. Steen's a better pass blocker than he's a running blocker. So in the running game, we do step down having Steen at right guard. So that's not, they need to figure this out, or they need to trade for a guard or trade for a good backup lineman just because when these guys get hurt, longer term. The defense has to be better as well. The defense is not so great at getting off the quarterback. That they're not sacking like we should. I talked about how Zadarius Smith, he left the team and he led the team in sacks. Also, our defensive tackle who leads the team in sacks, Jumo, he's questionable in this game, but he with a concussion, but he was limited, so keep an eye out for that. But they did bring in Brandon Graham. They brought him back. He's 37, 38 years old. I know a lot of Philadelphia Eagle fans are happy about that. I don't believe it. I think nostalgia is a bad thing. I'm an Astros fan. When they brought Carlos Correa, I said the same thing. Don't fall in love with things that happened in the past. We need new blood, new perspectives to help a team. And they brought Brandon Graham back. Now, from reading beat writers who were on the field, they said he's really causing havoc already, Brandon Graham. So that's good to see. He is going to play in this game. He knows the system. He is in shape. Who knows how many snaps he's going to get, but he is back. It's going to help a little bit. I still think they need to make a move to get somebody in the front seven. They have a cornerback problem, okay? Mitchell is healthy. He's playing this game, but besides him and Cooper DeJean, which, by the way, they are graded as the best cornerback duo in the league. But their second corner, Jackson, he was benched before for Ringo. Ringo was even worse than Jackson. He got benched, but Jackson's hurt. They cannot get Ringo in this game. I do not care, okay? Go get somebody who's 80 years old in a wheelchair, and he will play better than Kelly Ringo, whatever the hell his name is, okay? He will play better than the person in the wheelchair. A person on crutches would play better than Ringo, okay? Ringo's good at special teams, and that's all he should be doing is special teams. That's it. But no. So we get a little good news in that department. Jacorian Bennett has been taken off the IR. He was the trade we did for the Raiders before the season started. So they could use him, and I would implement him right there in the starting spot. Pit him right there and just see what he got, because he can't be any worse than those two bums, those two jokers, okay? Eagles didn't also. I want to emphasize this. I'll let you say something, Adam, but the Eagles. I need to emphasize this. The Eagles didn't seem prepared at all for the Giants. They didn't seem ready for this Jackson Dart scrambling. I do not know why. They let him scramble all over the field. They didn't have a QB spy whatsoever. I don't understand this. They blitzed and blitzed and blitzed him without just, letting him try to beat you in the passing game. Let him do that instead of him using his legs. So I think this is prime time for Vic Fangio. I think he's going to be more prepared. I think he knows what to do now. He's seen what Jackson Dart can do. So I think he's not just going to blitz the house every damn time, and he's going to have somebody to keep an eye on him. And we do have Nakobe Dean back, who's a way better run blocking, a better run stuffer at linebacker than Campbell, our fantastic rookie. He is way better. Campbell's really good in coverage, but his strength is not the rush tackling the runner. That's Nakobe Dean. He's back and he's playing more snaps. So that's another big plus. And as I said, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is going to be back for this game. You know what, Cam Scattaboo? You like to run over people, but we have now another guy on the other end who'll take off your head for no reason. He'll meet you in the back of an alley in the club and hit you for no damn reason. We got him back. He opens everything else for the defense. You ask the Minnesota Vikings. The run game did nothing for them, okay? Believe me. Did you see Carter hit Wentz? Wentz had to probably he looked like he got when he woke up, he thought he was in 6th grade, okay? We have Carter. He is back. I want to see him just collide with Scattaboo. And we'll see how big Scattaboo think how tough he really is with Carter. And Mitchell is back too. Shut down ace cornerback. Let's see how their bum ride receiving core does against that. Before I let you jump in one more time, the Eagles have covered the spread in each of their last 5 games versus the Giants after a win. Also, the Eagles have won 12 out of 13 games against the Giants, one playing at home. So I ran it like a madman there. I just had to do it because I've been waiting for this game, Adam. What do you think about the Eagles, this matchup in general? I'll let you take it from here for a little bit.
No, I think you hit on a lot of good points. Specifically, Jalen Carter being back is huge, and Fangio having time to scheme up after a bad loss. Last week, Hurts played pretty much perfect. They did have to live and die by the deep ball, which he is good at. For a long-term strategy for the Eagles, I don't think you want Hurts just throwing bombs. It did work for them last week, but I'm not a Hurts fan, but he played great last week. So we'll see if he can keep that up and if that connection with the wide receivers keeps rolling, because they haven't been able to rely on the rush game, and their defense isn't dominant either. So, like I said, long term, I don't like that Hurts is going to have to win games for them, but hopefully they can figure it out in the meantime.
Right. And I don't want to just glaze the Eagles here before I get my prediction here. The Eagles are one of the worst teams at converting 3rd downs. So that's not good. Like I said, the rushing is ranked 30th, and they don't really get after. They're not sacking the quarterback. They have really good QB pressures. So that has helped them when the quarterback tried to get the ball out of his hands. But they need they don't need to get after the quarterback. And like I said, they're not converting 3rd downs, and that is not good. I also want to say the Giants are one of the worst teams allowing passes over 20 yards or more, and that's falling straight in the hands, which I think after the Minnesota Vikings game, I think the Eagles are really going to emphasize the deep ball in this game, because they are one of the worst. They are the worst team against passes 20 yards or more, the Giants. So with that being said, it's Kelly Green night, where they wear those great colors. Give me the Eagles to cover the 7.5, the 10, 12. I think 10 we even outpitted that, okay? Revenge game, easy. I also want to remind people to pay attention to the injury reports, because A.J. Brown did not practice on Wednesday. He didn't practice on Thursday. From what I'm reading, he might play this game, and he's just they're taking it safe with him. But I think just keep an eye on that. But I think the Eagles cover this number. Revenge game. Vic Fangio is going to be better prepared. This defense, Carter's back, and they're wearing the Kelly Green jerseys, and they have great numbers in those jerseys. What do you got?
7.5 is a lot of points.
It is.
I do think the Eagles are going to be super motivated. But I need to have fun while I'm watching, so I'm gonna I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Oh man, you're a son of a bitch, man. I knew it. Hey, I'm at 7.5 is a lot, so I agree with you. And I was surprised because how tough they played the Broncos and they beat the Eagles. So I'm surprised it was that as well. So 7.5 is a lot for a division opponent, but I think they get their revenge. So well, that's to be a fun game for both of us.